The Council pioneered efforts to make a new life for Alice and many other people through the years by funding a variety of pilot living arrangements, from supported living apartments to the Home Choice Loan Program, which supports people buying and owning their own home. The Council funded pilot projects to assist the development of early intervention, preschool, and education of professionals, and to support the principles of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. Now, children with disabilities are being afforded the same civil rights to education as their peers without disabilities. Educational experiences open new doors and possibilities for many, many children. Children now have the opportunity to go to school through extended years until the age of 22 to learn life skills and work skills to help them succeed in their adult lives. During these 40 years, medical advances have lengthened the life expectancy of many people with disabilities so that they are living well into adulthood, requiring retirement opportunities. The Council led the way in noting these life expectancy changes and piloted older adult retirement activities as part of their supports. Over the next 5 years, the Council will support the new national trend of continuing post-secondary educational experiences for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Like groundbreaking Council member and Utah Valley University student Reed Haney, some people will see the possibilities of what lifelong learning can do for their careers and personal development.
I'm Reed Haney. I am involved with this council to be a good self-advocate. I'm working on a associate degree. I'm working on it. I like to meet new friends, getting to know each other, help the teachers, how to help with assignments, and also greet and meet other people in the college.
My name is Karen Haney, and I really got involved right on the cutting edge when President Kennedy first put money into something identified as special education. I got a master's degree at Utah State in special ed, which was a new field. And then many years after that, we adopted Reed, our son with Down syndrome. Reed has always taken us to the next level. He went to high school, and it was a fabulous experience. And then he could have stayed in high school and become a super senior and stayed till he was through his 22nd birthday. But he early on said, no, I don't want to do that. My friends are going to college. I want to go to college. And I even said to him, but Reed, if you're a super senior, you could do this and this and this. And finally one day he said to me, well, I'll stay if you want me to. And I thought, I've got to get out of his way. UVU is the kind of college you can just enroll him, and he started taking classes and loved it. Loved it. He just loved the campus. He loved being with the friends. There were two things he told me he didn't like about college: homework and tests. And we said, deal with it. If you're going to be a college student, this is what you deal with. And so he did. He actually has a 3.68 grade point because he pushes himself so hard. College has been a really great experience for him. I think not just for him taking classes, but for other people seeing him on campus. And we had a teacher come, this was a couple of semesters ago, and he taught professional presentations, doing PowerPoint and all of this. And he said, I want Reed in my business class. And I said, we haven't taken a lot of business classes. And he said, I want him in my class. And I said, well, Brent, he hasn't had the prerequisite. He said, I'll take care of it. I want him in my class. So here's Reed in this professional presentations class. And he did a lot of presentations. Some were on disabilities, some were on soccer. You know, he worked with a group and did a group presentation, always did his work. And the teacher said afterwards it was the best semester he had ever had. He said, because all of these kids that are going to become the leaders in the business world had a different experience this semester because of Reed. And he said, I thought it was fabulous. I look at all these kids on campus, they're going to become the parents of the next generation. And so why shouldn't they have a good experience and see Reed as a functioning individual, gets around campus, helps them get around campus. Reed's conquered every mountain with grace while he's pulled me along sometimes. Yes, and the only thing we feel bad about is that more kids aren't doing it. More kids need to be accessing campus curriculum and being there and developing the friendships and changing the world in the way that they can.
Having a way to earn a living and give back to the community is a normal adult developmental milestone. The Council has helped build capacity in this arena as well. The Council's hand in developing leaders within the community reaches to every corner and area of the state. Probably the most familiar Council projects include the Legislative Coalition for People with Disabilities and People First advocacy groups. Countless individual advocates have developed their skills and have used these skills to successfully educate our Utah legislature about the importance of funding services and supports. Hundreds of individual leaders were launched through our decade-long Partners in Policy Making training, and people have used those leadership skills influencing innumerable local, state, and national organizations.
My name is Tricia Beck, and I became involved in the disability community after giving birth to our second of 6 children who happens to have Down syndrome. After I'd had our son with a disability, I happened to see a note on a door at the DDI, Developmental Disabilities Incorporated, and it had said, you know, if you want to get involved in politics, come on into this meeting. So I happened to go back to the meeting. I'd read an article in Ann Landers who had said, you know, when a man had written in complaining about the government system, and Ann Landers had written back and said, quit your bellyache and go up to your state capital and do something about it. I thought, okay, if that's what I need to do, I'll do that. And I went to the meeting later that day, and next thing I know, I'm put on all of these different committees because I was speaking out and talking. And one of them happened to be the DD Council. And in particular, I remember going to a meeting because I began working on early intervention for children with disabilities. I had 4 young children, and I needed help. And I wanted it to be a mandate that children like my son had the right to go to school and not be put on a waiting list. I got to this meeting, and Anita Rowe, who was the chair of the council, I'm assuming that's what she was. Because I was on so many councils, I was a little bit confused at where I was at what time. I just tried to show up to all these different councils or meetings I was on. And we were sitting at the State Office of Education meeting, and I was sitting next to Anita Rowe. And they were talking a little bit about early intervention. And Anita turned to me and she says, you need to go up there and tell them what it's like. And I thought, I can't go up there. I thought I was just supposed to show up at this meeting, but I can't go up there and tell them what it's like. And she says, you need to be our voice. You can do it. And she wrote a few notes out for me. I said, well, what should I do? And she said, just go up there and tell them and keep it short. And I go, okay. So I went up there and I spoke. And that empowered me to think, I can speak up for a community that needs people to speak up for them. And I went up in 1997, and that was clear back about 25 years ago. And then in 1997, our legislator passed away very suddenly. And people started calling and saying, you need to take that position. And I go, who would want to be a legislator? Besides that, I can't be a legislator. I've got 6 little babies at home, 6 little children. And then the words, Anita Rowe, came into my mind again. We need your voice. And it was because of that empowerment, and I'm going, I can go up there. I can be a voice for a community that needs a voice inside the doors on Capitol Hill, and not just outside the doors. And so I just have appreciated the impact that Anita had. She empowered me, and she was a great mentor for me. And all of the wonderful people that I worked with, not only outside the doors on Capitol Hill, but inside the doors. And what great advocates those are that are outside. As I'd come running outside the doors and from inside the Capitol, I say, help me on this bill. This is so important to our community. And they were there. And a lot of them had also gotten their start through the DD Council and the Disabilities Coalition.
2011 marks the 40th year of the Council. And as you've just witnessed, a small group of dedicated people have changed the countless lives of families and individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities forever. When we look back on the progress we have made since 1971, what will move us forward into the next 40 years? What will people's lives look like in 2051 compared to the opportunities we have today? Let's continue to move forward together and make great things happen.